Man, what it is. Welcome to another episode of Hold Up and Another Thing, presented by Mixed Vibes Media. Y'all already know the vibes. It's your boy, Mr. Bell, aka say your name up on this pod. Might not put you the mob. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Make sure y'all listen to the other podcasts up under the Mixed Vibes Media umbrella. Like I said, hold up and another thing. We got respectfully you wrong. We got hold please. I said what I said. Of course, we got the flagship mixed vibes. And if you're into your sports, we got from my perspective. But that being said, I am first off, I want to thank this brother because I made a TikTok and I said I'm looking for more guests. A lot of people liked, and then people DM'd, and then people commented, and then when I would reply back, I got nothing. This is the only person who actually, followed through with the invite. And schedules didn't align because this brother should have been here a long time ago. But hopefully, I can get this brother on again. Paul, how you doing, sir?
What's up? What's up? How you feel, boss? Thanks for having me.
Man, it is an honor. It is a privilege to have you on. Like I said this before the pod, but I won't say it on air. Thank you for making the time because you are a busy man. You got you got a
Yeah.
bit coming up at the end of the month. You got travel. You a father. You a busy man, so I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, thanks for having me. When I saw what the subject matter was, it was important to make the time, right? We need to have these conversations. And if my story gets to inspire somebody else, cool, right? If I get to get a little therapy out the situation, right, by talking my shit, then cool too. So it's a win-win all around.
Okay, yeah, that's what you said. Hey, as long as we can have a good conversation, conversations is important. Dialogue is important because, like you said, not only can it be therapy for you, but it can be therapy for someone else, and it can inspire someone else. I'm very big on. I don't get jealous of people. I get inspired by people because if I see somebody else doing well, it makes me want to do well in my field. It makes me want to do better at what I'm doing. It makes me go harder. That's just me. A lot of people get jealous and get envious and all of that. That's just saying my makeup. When I see somebody winning, I'm it makes just genuinely makes me happy. So seeing that, well, I started following you on TikTok because of that comment, and you do a lot of great things. So let's start with what is the business that you own?
Yeah, so I own Big Time Balloons or Big Time Event Studio, and we are a full service event design firm here in the Cincinnati area. I like to make a joke and say, we're not doing backyard baby showers. But if the money's right, we could do a backyard baby shower, right? But primarily our business model is focused on partnering with other businesses of a variety of different sizes and industries to help them promote and bring additional visibility to products, services, or promotions that they're offering. My background is in marketing, and so a lot of my clients have really found it's easy to do business with me because I understand how to promote. I understand how to capture an audience. But most importantly, we're focused on not only bringing that visibility, but making sure that their guests leave having felt something, right? Taking it kind of one step lower and figuring out how do we increase what they can do in the future.
All right, you said a bunch of things right there. I want to get to. The first thing is was last one of the last things you said was making the people feel something. Do you feel like that's lost in other event planners? As the people just go to the event, but they don't. It's not a event. If you get what I'm saying, it's just a thing that they did.
Look, you know what? I, I told you how the conversation is sponsored by the juice here. And so I'm gonna ask the Lord to guide my words because I'm not trying to be messy. Um, what I will say is that he said what?
You being honest. We ain't gonna say
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
messy.
yeah.
You being honest.
I, as a man, as a professional, as a business owner, as a designer, am very confident and comfortable in what we do and what distinguishes us from my competition. Having a graduate level degree in marketing allows me to approach situations in a unique fashion. Um, Throughout my postgraduate studies. I really focused on consumer psychology. So why do people buy the way they buy? And if they don't buy, why didn't they buy? Right. And so that allows me to approach working with new clients with a unique perspective to where when I'm doing a, $60,000 event, I can say, hey, not only are you pushing out this new launch, but you want your partners or you want your guests to leave with not only great pictures that you can market with for next year, but also with the opportunity to say, I made some great connections. I made met some great people. A new opportunity came from this. So if we can tie the emotion back into the event, specifically in a positive light, it really allows people to make an emotional connection with your event, which means the next time it comes up, specifically if it's an annual event, they can't wait to buy tickets. And so feeling is huge, right? Feeling ties into color, feeling ties into a lot of the nonprofit work that I do and pushing the mission of that nonprofit forward. And so if I can work with my clients to get that guest to feel something, regardless of what we do activation wise, balloons, flowers, props, whatever, if I can get you to feel something, then you're more inclined to go back to that event, which means that client is coming back to me because we were successful the first time around.
Okay. You spoke on a graduate level of marketing. Where did you get this degree from?
Yeah. So my undergrad, I was a non-traditional student, right? So I'm 40 now. I got my undergrad in my late 20s, early 30s. So I graduated in 2016 with my undergrad in communications from a small liberal arts school in Kentucky, called Thomas More University. And then, kind of bounced around, played around in the corporate world, and then during COVID of all times,
Yeah.
um, with a newborn, mind you, I was working in a corporate job and I was like, you know what? My mentors were like, you need some more credentials. You need to get some more experience. So I decided to go back and get my MBA from a small college right outside of OSU's campus in Columbus, Ohio, called Franklin University. And interestingly enough, because I was doing it during COVID, 90% of my classmates that I went through the graduate program with, we didn't meet until graduation. Um, and then one dude, if I don't, he's not gonna see this, but Jeremy, if you were ever to see this, I know you gave me COVID. I know you did. He was the only one, he was the only nigga I was around that was acting sick. And when I say it hit my whole household, thank you, Lord, for keeping us safe. But yeah, that's my education. And it was dope. I'm a lifelong learner. So I was talking to my business coach the other day, and he was like, "All right, so what's the next 6 months?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm thinking about getting a doctorate." He was like, "For what? What you gonna do with it?" I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know, but if I go back to school, that means that them student loan payments stop." So I'm like, gotta weigh it out. You know what I mean?
That is one way to look at it. Them students stop because I know some people. I ain't gonna say no names, but they continue to see school because of the fact they try to kick that down the road, right? They try to kick it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Well, let's go to the beginning. You, how did you start this business?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you one word answer and then I'm gonna break it down. The answer is trauma. You're like, what? What do you mean by that? Growing up, I'm from Texas. I've got one sibling. I come from very, very humble beginnings, Section 8, food stamps, the whole thing. Back when food stamps were actually, you had to rip it out the book.
Mhm.
Okay. They fancy now. They got cards and stuff, but very humble beginnings. And with my sister and I being so close in age, um, I can't tell you how many Christmases and Easters and just milestone holidays throughout the year where we didn't have that, right? Parents didn't have it. But what they did have was enough smarts, if you will, to save up money to where on your birthday, baby, you were the best thing since sliced bread, right? And so that humble beginning Then here I am as an adult. Um, my daughter was born via surrogacy, and I made myself a promise the day she was born. The first promise was that I would make her birthday feel like she is the most special person in the entire universe. And then the second promise was that I would take her to 5 countries before she turns 18. Um, that turned into me doing a special event for her on her birthday, big birthday party every year. I've always been very type A. I like shit the way I like it. Um, I've always been very creative, and so we started off with one in the million, then went to too legit to quit. Then we went to Under the Sea, Malia is three. Then we went to Shoot for the Stars. Then we went to Malia's fairy fifth birthday. My money was funny during six, and so we chill. We had a little Chuck E. Cheese situation. But her seventh birthday is coming up here in a few months, and the theme is 6'7", because she is six, she's turning seven. And so as I've again decorated and curated these events, um, it wasn't until her third birthday that I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of dope. I'm kind of good at this. And so I started doing stuff for neighbors. Um, I had just finished grad school, so I was like eager to put into practice all the stuff that I had just learned. And so I started putting myself out there, got a business license, applied for some wholesale pricing, took some classes, went to some conventions, and then I left corporate America. I got divorced, and I asked God. I said, "Are we doing this full time, Lord?" And I don't know how God talks to you, but He was like, "Nigga, what you mean? Of course we are." He's like, I didn't put it on your heart for you to just play with it. I don't know what kind of relationship you or your audience has with the Lord, but when I talk to God, that's how he and I interact. And so um through some ups and some downs, through some ebb and some flow, some highs and some lows, we stepped out on faith. And within a year and a half of officially being a business, we hit six figures in revenue. I was like, oh, okay, so y'all serious.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, people always ask me, what you do for a living? I blow up balloons. And they see where I live, they see what I drive, they see how I move, when I'm just who I am. And so that's how I got started. Very quickly realized that what I do is not hard. It's tedious. It takes organization. It takes planning. And those are the things I'm real good at, right? And so being able to put that into a creative outlet, I have never in my entire life felt more fulfilled. And I'm excited for what the future holds.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Why do you say when people ask you what you do, I blow up balloons? Because you do so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm being a smart ass, if I'm being honest with you. I say that because like that when I went and got the house I'm in now, right? And I went to the bank and they was like, "Oh, okay. What do you do for a living?" And this is before I had even presented any of my financials or whatever. Um and I was like, "Oh, I blow up balloons for a living." And the mortgage loan people was like, "Oh." Right? Because we had this preconceived notion of what balloons are, what they could be, you know. Um, but then whenever people give me flack about balloons, the first thing I always say to them is name me one event in anybody's life. One. I'm gonna ask you the same question where balloons are not appropriate. And the first thing everybody says is what?
You know,
Funeral. I can tell you how many repasses and funeral arrangements I've done, especially dealing with niggas. You know what
stop.
I'm saying? So name me one event where balloons are not appropriate, right?
Okay.
Where balloons don't elevate the event. You can't name one.
I can't. Other than
You
funerals,
can't.
but you said you did funerals. We're gonna have to
All the
talk about
time.
that. We're gonna talk
All the
about
time.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I respond to that. Um, there is this trivialness or redundancy that people think that balloons have, right? They only know balloons from Party City and Amazon, right? I know balloons that can be indoors for 8 months up without popping, right? I know balloons that can be in hot, humid, sticky Ohio weather outdoors for 2 to 3 days at a time without popping, right? I know Fortune 100 companies that pay thousands of dollars for me to come and put up balloons, and not just me, but people in this industry, right? And so yeah, that's what I do. I say it as it's a psychological approach because it reframes what you think about balloons, which then makes you curious about balloons, which then draws you back to my socials, which then makes you see that we're dope, which then was like, yo, I may not be able to hire him right now, but when I have an event and I want to go crazy, I want to go wild, that's who I'm calling.
Goes into the marketing degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have reshaped my thoughts on balloons already. So we got to talk about this repass.
Which one? Because I've done a couple.
Okay, just explain to me how you make the balloons fit in the repass. Because in my head, like you said, I see Party City balloons. So
Yeah.
enlighten me, my brother.
Look, I wish we would have had the questions preloaded. 'Cause I would have had a slideshow put together for you. Um, um, when you're dealing with someone who's passed away, there and it depends, right? Because you one thing we know within our culture, right? Let's tie it back to Black culture specifically, because those are the only ones I've done. We know we're gonna have an uncle or auntie or ex who's going to show out, right? So you want something simple, you want something out the way. So when Aunt Shirley fall out, right? It's not knocking over the balloons. A lot of times families go with characters or colors, or you laughing, but you laughing because I'm telling the truth
I
though.
can't with I know you are. That's why I say in my head, man, I can't with him right now. Because Big Shirley gonna fall out. We all
She's
know.
gonna fall out. She's gonna fall out. Um, that uncle or maybe Aunt Shirley, somebody has had too much to drink,
I was just
right? And so I take you through all that. I'm being silly, but as a designer, right, as an event producer, my team and I, we look at those things, right? That's the psychology of it. How do we produce that event? And so, a lot of the time, most often time, it's what's that favorite person's favorite color. If it was, organizations, or two of them that I've done have been for individuals that were Greek, right? They were D9, and so incorporating that into the design, and we do a lot with customization, so like with vinyl and uplighting to where we can, again, how did you feel, right? What did my design, what did my activation, did it bring up a memory? We've got some LED screens that we use that we can do, logos and slideshows, and then we put decorations, flowers and balloons around it. But not only is it a focal point, it becomes a conversational piece to where people can stop, look at those pictures, reminisce. Next thing you know, two cousins that haven't seen each other in 17 years are having a moment about going to grandma's house when they was a little kid. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So that's been the majority of what we've done. I haven't done a ton of them. And that's a conversation I do want to have. Put a pin in that. The other conversation I want to have is Black people, specifically in the Midwest, and I'm gonna consider Kentucky the Midwest. Stop having Houston, Atlanta, LA, New York budgets, or excuse me, ideas on Midwest budgets. Let's talk about it. And assuming, right? Assuming because I'm a nigga just like you that oh, I get the homeboy hookup. Maybe that's not how it works. We got taxes to pay. You know what I mean? I have labor costs, material costs, business savings, expansion plans, college funds, like those things. And so, again, I'm being funny, but when it comes down to as a culture, I want us to shift the narrative of just because we have a shared lived experience does not mean that what I bring to the table should be devalued because you you're not gonna go tell Foot Locker that you want a discount on them J's, right? You're not gonna tell Louis Vuitton even if the sales rep is black, that you want to discount on that Louis Vuitton, right? And so we have to start treating our black business owners the exact same way. Stop asking for discounts. Stop asking for hookups, because we're the only community that does that. And it's I think one of the reasons why as a culture we have not gotten further than where we are right now.
Two things off you said. First, I know, I always tell people that I know their own business or whatnot. Now the dogs will start barking.
You
Been doing this
cool.
on the pod. Been doing this
You
pod.
good.
Now the dogs will bark. But now, I always tell people, don't ask for the homie discount. When I go and buy from my friends that own clothing lines and food trucks, now I'm gonna pay full price. Even if you try to
Mhm.
give me a discount, no, I'm gonna pay full. I'm gonna pay full price because of the simple fact you got a business that you are running. You're not gonna be as successful if you keep giving out free stuff. Now, you said something about Kentucky being the Midwest.
Is it not?
Okay, so
Is it the South?
this is how I say it when I talk to people. Kentucky is the South. Louisville, where I live at, is not the South. And I don't think up there by you, like Northern Kentucky, that by Cincinnati, I don't think that's the South neither. Like if you go down towards like Bowling Green or E Town and part of Kentucky, they southern. I don't think Louisville's southern at all. I think Louisville is definitely a melting pot. I don't even argue with people. So that's why I say Kentucky, majority, let me say it like that. Majority of the state is the South. Louisville,
But Louisville's not.
nah, man. Let me say, y'all live up. You been up here?
Yeah.
I ain't gotta tell you, this don't feel southern to you. It has southern charm a little bit, but no.
I had thoughts. I had thoughts.
Talk to me. Because I feel like it's
Um,
a Midwestern city. I agree with you on that. I just don't. I feel like the rest of Kentucky could be considered southern.
I'm gonna say Kentucky as a whole is southern because of the Mason-Dixon line, right? Let's geography in it, right? But then secondarily, I would say that Kentucky is the Midwest in terms of having a hodgepodge of Southern hospitality, racism, mixed neighborhoods. And here's the biggest part of how I would consider it to be the Midwest, because I'm decently traveled, right? I wouldn't say I'm well traveled. I'm decently traveled. We got a couple stamps on the passport. Um, the Midwest is the only part of the country that I'm familiar with where you could be in the hood and not even a half block over, it's $1 million house. They don't do that in Texas. In Texas, you either in the hood or you in $1 million gated community. There is no, and I use that. I say that cautiously because I know gentrification and things are happening, but as a general rule of thumb, right? The Midwest is the only place that I've experienced where you are in the hood and there's $1 million house 2 blocks over, right? And so, and I'm again, I'm looking at Atlanta, I'm looking at Chicago, I'm looking at Houston, I'm looking at Austin. You don't have that, and so when I'm looking at what quantifies Midwest, right? Um, that's one of the main things I'm looking at.
Okay, I see your point. I see your point. Listen. We go. I agree with a lot of what you said. Just riding through them
If I
hills.
tell my homeboys back in Texas about Geta or Grippos or Skyline Chili, they ain't got no idea what I'm talking about. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every single one of them.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you for 1 second. I have never had Skyline chili.
Oh, you're not missing nothing. I just got into
That's
it.
why I ain't never had
Uh,
it. Because everybody I say it ain't worth it.
I got into I wouldn't say it's a heated debate, but my profile on social media is my business profile, right? And so specifically on TikTok. And so I got into this creator, this influencer had come to Cincinnati. He was at Skyline. He was having a chili. And I got in the comments. I was just like, yo, I've been here for 20 years. I just can't get behind it. I'm from Texas. Hope you tried some other Cincinnati staples while you were here. I had like 3 or 4 people in the comments being like, oh, I hate when people from Texas or people from other states talk about this is not real chili. And I was like, whoa, relax, friend. I never said it wasn't real chili. I just said I am from Texas, which means that the framework of chili is coming from my experience in Texas. I've lived here for 20 years. I've had plenty of opportunities to try it. I have tried it, and I'm not fucking with it. I didn't say it all like that, but um people in Cincinnati, people in the Midwest take that shit very seriously. And it's hot dog sauce. And I'm gonna die on that hill. It's hot dog sauce. Back in Texas, we used to put that on walking tacos. See, people like to call it, they use Skyline chili or Mount Washington or Greek style chili. What it really is, I used to Hormel no beans, right? That's when you go to the gas station, they got the one side with the chili and the one side with the meat sauce. That Hormel chili is what I'm equating that to. You know what I mean? And you're gonna get bubble guts regardless. Um, regardless. So I'm not messing with the chili. Now, Grippos,
Oh yeah, nah, we that now that I love.
I'll fight you over that.
Yeah,
That's
nah,
the best barbecue chip on the market.
yeah, nah.
Period.
We gonna do the grip balls every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Look,
Every
people
time.
they don't like grip balls. I give them the
That's wild.
for real.
Name me another barbecue chip that you fuck with more than Grippos. Because you can't.
I can't. I that grip balls is probably my second favorite trip. I
What's the
do.
number one?
You gonna judge me, but it's
I
okay.
am.
It's okay, and I'm cool with that. I'm accepting who
Yeah.
I. Uh, I like Lay's plain potato chips.
The in the yellow bag?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's cool. That's a staple.
You know what? It's probably my third because I like Ruffles regular too. I'm not a flavor like I don't want no sour cream and onion. Don't give me that.
Sour cream and cheddar?
No,
Oh my goodness. Man. You feeling all right? You good?
look. I said that I got somebody in the background dancing because of sour. Because of sour cream and cheddar. Y'all can have. I don't want no parts.
Oh man.
It's just it ain't.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. But
Okay,
let's.
but we can agree that Grippo slap though.
Yeah, every time without question.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Have you had Grippos finally dusted or finally chopped up and turned into a dust and then deep fried on some shit? You ain't
No.
had no oh you ain't had no Grippo's dusted wings?
You know what? I lied. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I lied. As soon as you said wings, I said no. Wait a minute. Yes, I have. Yes, I
And then
have.
change your life,
Didn't think
make you want to call somebody.
it was a food truck. I want to
Hmm.
say it was a I can't think of not the county fair, state fair. I want to say it was at the state fair. I had it, and they used the seasoning. They used the Grippo wing, the Grippo seasoning as well. Let's stop. Let's get back to you. Because I was talk to you about food and things like that.
All day. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, mm, I'm gonna ask this real quick, foodie.
Yeah.
What is a local restaurant that you gotta try
Mm.
in Cincinnati? And then we'll get back to you.
Uh I can't answer that question because I have favorites in every category, right? Being a single dad and a busy business owner, we eat out a lot. Don't get me wrong. Your boy throws down in the kitchen, right? But I also have a 6-year-old. And I'm not finna eat Donald nuggets and mac and cheese every day, right? And I'm also not finna cook two different things. So that means that we got to order out from two separate places. So you can eat what you want to eat. I can eat like a grown up, and so be it. So give me one category, and I'll give you my top two in each category or in any category.
Don't make me break. Oh,
It don't matter what
okay.
category it is. I got to answer.
I'm gonna have to. Soul food.
Soul Food, Miss Jade's.
Okay.
She has been around for maybe about a year and a half. She's pricey. But Miss Jade is her food is good. Her green beans a little salty. My green beans better, but whatever. Her food is good. Her salmon croquettes, her salmon fillets, her pork chop plate.
Okay.
Whew. Yeah, so Miss Jade's. She actually about to open up a new location. Shout out to her, called the Overflow. Her business has grown so much in a year that she found another space, and within a year's time is expanding. So, and Black people, we don't play about soul food. And so if she growing that fast, you know what I mean, then not only is she business smart, but her food slap. All right, next category.
I had to do soul food because we both black, and I
Of
ain't
course. Of
no disrespect.
course.
But my my favorite Italian.
Um, you want big portions or you want to go on a cute date? Right? You trying to eat, go home, go to sleep, or you trying to go bop around afterwards? Because they're different. Sexy romantic Italian, or I'm trying to smash and go home and sleep Italian are a little different.
I want to smash and go home.
Okay.
I'm not when I go
Um,
to Cincinnati, I'm not gonna be smashing and going straight to the hotel. I'm probably gonna be
yeah,
out of town.
yeah.
But let's go with smashing. No.
Alamonte, I think is what it's called. Scotty's. No, no, not Alamonte, not Alamonte. Because they put sardines in their Caesar, and I don't mess with that. Scotty's. Scotty's is a Cincinnati staple. Scotty's is the kind of restaurant where you go in and like there's no lighting in the restaurant besides that candle on your table that
Mhm.
has the wax that's been dripping down from the last 20 candles that has been lit, right? Scott is going to give you a piece of lasagna that's a foot long that
Mhm.
you're going to eat on for the next 3 days. Um, Scotty is going to give you some real cheap wine that they have marked up because I can get that same bottle at the grocery store for about $25. But you do it even though you know so because of the ambiance, right? Scotty got that loud, obnoxious, crackling speaker in the back playing some Italian favorite that we don't know, but it helps again create the mood. It helps change how we feel, right? We going back to them feelings.
Yep.
Um, and Scotty is gonna be one of those situations, very much like Olive Garden, where you're gonna get a soup or a salad, but between the breadsticks, maybe the calamari, maybe the salad that you ate, you're full before your food even get there, right? So yeah, those that would I fuck with Scotty's. Now I'm
Okay.
hungry.
Got, I know. And then the food that got delivered, I'm smelling the food.
Oh no. Okay.
So Scotty's and Jay's. Okay, cool. Because I'm
Yeah.
we planning a trip to Cincinnati, so I gotta.
Yeah. Let me we got each other's information. Let me know when you're up in town. We'll bop out and
Okay.
I'll show you. And then vice versa.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't I don't have anything planned in Louisville, but you what, an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So
Oh, what the hell? It don't. Yeah, it don't take that long. But like I said, let's get back to you. But you talked
yeah,
about people in the Midwest wanting New York, LA, Atlanta prices. Do you get that often?
every day. Every day. And here, I'm gonna take it one further. I'm gonna take it one further because now I didn't had a couple pieces of juice. Um, they want the designs that are New York, LA, Houston, Atlanta don't want to pay for it. And
Mhm.
then very early in my career, I was so fixated on trying to make a name for myself that I would spend hours doing research, calling vendors, putting together these visual mock-ups for them. Then like a dummy, send it to them for them to either A, ghost, or B, turn around and say, hey, we're going in a different direction. For then only me to see my design created by another designer for less money.
For less money.
So now, if you want the creativity that's up here, if you want the years of experience, the if you want the magic that's in this black boy mind, we gonna have to put some ink on some paper and let that deposit hit, let that retainer hit, and then you can have you can have all of me that you want once we had those two things in place. I learned a lesson the hard way several times, and I'm just like, you silly. How you gonna do it a couple times? I was like, no, no, no. The client really loves my vision. They want to rock with me. I'm like, no, that's not what it is, right? And so we're getting the big city and the small mid market in two different ways. You want the big city event, you want to pay mid-market prices, but then you're acting like a big business or a conniving business that you would generally see in bigger markets, right? So it's like I'm being bombarded from by that principle and that mentality from two different directions. So that was a very hard lesson for me to learn from a business perspective. But yeah, that every day. And so my contract went from like page and a half to it's like 10 pages now. And those pages, and you laughing, but those between finally getting to the point where I could have an actual attorney write a contract for me and not just me and ChatGPT making some shit happen, right? But then going back to my legal team and being like, hey, we need to add this clause because I just got burned this way, right? Um Another clause being if the contract says that the event is over at 11 o'clock, I need to be going back for my second load back into my van by 11:15. Meaning that at 11 o'clock, I loaded the first load. I'm on the way back for the second load, right? Not just y'all just now doing the cha-cha slide and you know what I mean? Not auntie just now getting her third plate or she just now wrapping her food up. No, 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 no. And if and when we get to that point, I am not one to impede or to stop you from having a good time, right? I'm here to elevate your celebration to again make you feel something, right? So if and when we get to that point, there now is a clause for every additional half hour I wait, you're gonna have to pay for it. I better look, I sit in my car and scroll on TikTok and won't think another thing for it. But you're gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay for it. So yeah, that's again, that's a cultural thing. Because I don't have that problem with white people.
I was just, I literally was just about to ask you, is it only us that give you that? That was gonna be my next question.
Um, it's brown and black.
Oh,
I do a lot of Indian stuff. I do a lot of Hispanic stuff. And you know, our brown cousins, they be on that shit too, you know. Um, but Sally and Jeff, baby, the party was supposed to be over at 10, 9:45. They saying they last goodbyes. The food has been wrapped up. You know what I mean? And so people always be like, "Oh, I want to see you do more like African American or Black centered events." So would I. Me too. But there's only so much that I'm willing to deal with from our community before I put my foot down and say, "Yo, y'all wildin'." You know? So
you
yeah.
preaching today. I ain't even gonna hold you. You preaching today. That is a public service announcement for when you said it's the brown people, the brown of us too, our brown cousins. But I'm gonna say, black people, we need to be more on time, more professional about our situations, and stop asking for the homie discounts. So let's make sure we put that in the PSA as well. If the party is over at 11, the party is over at 11. 10:55, everybody should already been out the door by at least 5 minutes.
I'm gonna give you a grace period though. That's the part. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you a grace period because I understand, right? When you have, especially when you have large crowds of people, I'm gonna give you a grace period. Um, in my contract, it also does state that if if you don't want to pay that additional fee, then you're okay. And you can't even move through the contract until you sign it in DocuSign. Um, cool. Y'all want to stay and hang out? Me and my crew, we coming inside. We breaking it down. So the ambiance. So let me back up. The ambiance is over at 11 o'clock. Whether you niggas is out the building or not, this not my building. But me and my equipment, we coming in and we starting to break it down. So if that means that balloons is popping, screwdrivers is going, forklifts is rising, and that interferes with your event, the ambiance, the feeling, stop at 11 o'clock. That's what you contracted me for. Now, if you want that to go beyond 11 o'clock, you'll get an invoice on Monday morning.
All right. Let me, like I said, I wasn't gonna take too much of your time, but it is two things I do want to ask you before I get you up out of here. Uh, the first thing, you've been doing this for a while now. What is the favorite event that you have done? That
Mm,
that somebody might hear this and they might not get offended because you didn't pick them for personal reasons.
um, you know how black people be like, "Yo, I'm grown." You know what I mean? Or I'm not one of your little friends. Um,
I just said that.
I'm gonna approach this response and this answer to this question from that same cultural perspective that we all know and understand. Um, but the answer to that question is unequivocal. It's the biggest event that my team and I have done. It's Black Winefest here in Cincinnati. It is it is a cultural movement in the city.
Mm,
Um, this past year, um, the client came to me, or she came to me last year and said, "Hey, Paul, I want you to design my event." There was no jumping off point. There was no Paul, here's the theme, go. It was, "Hey, Paul, design my event." Now, granted, I've worked with this client. This was the fourth year. We've had the contract for 3 years. She went with someone else. Um, she went with someone else last year, the year before, and that person did a great job. Did a great job. Can't even I can't even hold you. But she came back to me for whatever reason this year. That event is one of the biggest events on the Black socialite calendar here in Cincinnati. And here is you're gonna ask me, okay, well, Paul, why was it your favorite event? Because my design made the city shake. And I'm gonna tell you, like, what you mean? What you mean?
You know about
So
that?
no, yeah, no jumping off point.
Mhm.
Paul, the brief or the client brief that I got, Paul designed my event. Right. I knew the space. I've designed in the space. I've done this same event in that same space. And so, but I also knew that it was on Valentine's Day. So we would be boo the fool if we didn't lean into red, didn't lean into Valentine's Day, to that red, to that sexy, that grown vibe, right? Um, so anyway, I designed a football field worth of activations in all red, different variations of red. But then I said the dress code is black and white. And you're like, well, what you mean? Like, why does that matter? Because there's so much red in the event, and because it's on Valentine's Day, subconsciously, how we feel, we want to wear red. It's Valentine's Day. We want to feel grown. Want to feel sexy, especially the ladies, right? And so if I have this all red monochromatic design, and then Shorty wears a red dress, when she posts that picture, she blends into the background. But if she wears black or white, she unequivocally is going to stand out. But as black folks, we love a color coordinated moment.
You right.
So telling Shorty and her dude to go wear neon green, that ain't gonna work. But every single person and every single household and every single environment, community got something black, white, or a combination of the both.
You right.
And so what we were able to do, and when we get off this call, go look at it. It's pinned to my page. We made Cincinnati shake. The second reason why it was my favorite event is labor was a concern for me, and so I hosted a class to where people came in and took the class about how to elevate and execute luxury events like this. The number one balloon company in not the country, the number one balloon company in the world, right? The whole like sphere that green and blue thing we live on in the
Uh-huh.
world was like, yo, we believe in your project. We're gonna sponsor all your latex. And
Man.
what would have been a $7,000 to $8,000 expenditure, we got for free.
Oh, you flexing now. Ain't God good. Hey, boy.
Good, good. Hold on. Gearing up for that, right? The event was in February. I reached out to them in September. We didn't get the okay to January. So when I tell you that we was operating on faith,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have a budget, right? The client is paid in full. Whether the company come and give me all these balloons or not, I told the client this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it was either come up with $7,000 to buy these balloons, right? Maybe a little discount because you're buying in that much bulk. Or Lord, Father God, well, I come to you humbly, Lord. We gonna ask that you make this, your time. All those different prayers, right? We pray, right, when we going through, and God said, don't even worry about it. He said, and this is again, this is how me and the Lord talk. He said, your business case is weak. You need to go back and redo that. And so as I'm pitching major corporations like this, right? There comes in that graduate level education, and we're talking about how to put together a business case. What's the ROI for them, right? What's the reach? We made some tweaks within. Once I made the tweaks, within 2 weeks we had the okay. Um, and truth be told, we didn't even get to use all of them. They sponsored 20,000 balloons. We used 15 and some change. But we built the largest balloon wall in Ohio history. Um, and that's dope. So to answer your question, that's my favorite one, and that
No,
was just this past February.
now that definitely is. That's definitely dope. If you do that again, please let me know so I can come to the wine and learn.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get into that piece because
Okay.
something tells me the client may or may not see this, and so if you've seen this, hey, how you doing? I would love to do business again. However, um, she just moved her event from February to August. They moved to a different venue, which we all know what it is, but whatever. Um, we'll see if she want to rock with me again. We'll see.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll leave it at that. I always ask business owners. I've interviewed business owners. I've interviewed writers. I've interviewed so many different people, and I always ask them, "Who helped you get to where you are?" Because nobody ever does do it alone. Somebody
Hmm.
always either gave us that word of encouragement, gave us the startup grant, whatever it is. Who is that person that you want to recognize to say, "Hey, this person helped me in the most way to get to where I am with the business. Not you personally, but with the business."
This is gonna sound weird. This is gonna sound like weird, weird. Um, what Snoop say? Um, I want to thank me. Um, well, because I'm being funny, but um, I'm being honest because what people don't realize is what you see is an event that lasted 3 hours. What you don't see is the months of preparation and the countless emails and the business cases and the production. And for this event I'm telling you about, you didn't see me for 2 months in my garage building props. You know what I mean? Um you didn't see me scrubbing red paint out of my living room carpet because the project was so big that it went down from downstairs in my studio to now it took over my whole house, right? You didn't see the me and my daughter passing out on the couch because we're so exhausted, and going to UDF in the morning and grabbing a chocolate milk and a donut because daddy didn't have time to make you breakfast in the morning because we was up until 2 o'clock in the morning prepping, right? You don't see all that stuff. And so um I'm being funny, but being an entrepreneur is by far the hardest thing that I've had to do. It's not just about managing money, but what you gonna do when that person say, no, I don't want to work with you, or hey, we've decided to go in a different direction because the bill people, I don't know if you know this or not, they still want their money, even
Mhm.
if that event didn't book, them niggas still want to get paid,
They still at that
right?
bill. Yeah.
Look, so the answer is me. Um, I'll very quickly take it one step further and tell you who the inspiration behind that is that little girl who looked just like me, right?
Okay.
Our birth and here's how I know that little girl was supposed to be my daughter. Our birthdays are exactly 1 month apart.
Oh, really?
Her birthday is October 4th. My birthday is November 4th. That and some people may say nature versus nurture and get into all that. When I tell you that she acts like me, she solves problems just like me, and she's mad creative just like me. Um, so when it get time for her to flex her shit, she gonna be prepared. So to answer your question, me and her.
Me and her. Okay.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just talk out something. I ain't mad at it. Let me say again, I appreciate you making the time because you are a busy man. I took over the amount of time that I told you I was gonna take. So my apologies.
No, you're good. Hold on. And I know we over time. I got nothing to do. I'm in the house. We didn't talk about the last topic. And if you're okay, I would like to touch the last topic because the last
Oh,
topic is
by all means. We was gonna talk about I wanted to talk about mental health because June was men's mental health month. But the reason I wanted to talk about it, I had an episode last month, but I want to talk about it again. I probably will again next month because of the simple fact men's mental health is not just should not just be recognized 1 month and then okay, bury your feelings for the rest of the year. No, it's okay. One, it's okay for men to have feelings. Two, it's okay for men to talk about it. And three, it's okay to not be okay. So I wanted to talk about men's mental health, but I'm just gonna get the floor to you because you said a lot of things before this pod, and I don't want to get in your way. Let me just put it like that. But let me ask it like this: then we can go. Why is mental health important to you?
all right. It is 8:50 between my response, your rebuttal, and then the wrap up of this call. We gonna wrap it at 9. So we got about 7 minutes.
Okay.
Let me give you this. Um, Historically, African American culture, specifically within men, has been predispositioned and psychologically predisposed to not believing, understanding, or giving reverence to our mental struggles because it meant that we were weak based off of what's it called, buck breaking that happened from colonial slave days and the Atlantic slave trade, right? Transpose that over into the Jim Crow area, and we shifted into a survival mode. We just trying to make it home. We just trying to not get the dogs shifted on us, not get the hoses turned on us.
Mhm.
That also then comes into the breakdown of the nuclear family, right? Where we have traditionally white Americans being shipped off to the Vietnam War, World War II, like all that freight, all that time. And then we have the introduction of crack cocaine into the black community in the 70s and 80s, right? Um, what that does to us psychologically over the course of centuries, decades, is that it predispositions us to believe that what we are feeling inside as men is not valid because a white man said that we shouldn't be feeling that way. And so now, at least I'm seeing is that specifically African American culture and men within African American culture are now finally being given the space to acknowledge the fact that I'm not okay. What you said, what you did, how you acted impacted me. It affected me. And I'm to the point where I'm 40, right? And my dad, rest his soul, I got based in my chest a couple times because showing my emotions within my 40 years of life was soft. It was weak. And aside from the fact that I was like, yo, I'm trying to tell you that's who I am, it was still perceived as effeminate, right? Um, to cry, to express your feelings, to cook dinner for your spouse as a man. And so what I'm seeing now is that specifically, and I can give you a couple of different examples, not black culture, right? Because Nigerians and the continent of Africa, they are experiencing a whole nother shift in their culture, but the diaspora within the continental US, right? We are experiencing this come to Jesus moment where mental health, specifically within the Black male community, is finally being given the space to breathe, right? And to not have to be hard, you know what I'm saying? And to love our daughters and more specifically to love our sons without it being homoerotic, right? Without it being soft. Um, and so for me, having come from a very rigid and strict Southern Baptist background, grappling with my own sexuality, having to figure out how I navigate the world as a black man, um, had you met me like at 20, 22, 23? Ooh, I was a shit. What the girls say? I was a porn. I was a sissy. Um, and I'm still, at times effeminate, but at 40 years old, you got to move a little differently in the world. And so for me, it's not just the breaking of those generational curses and moving into a new era of what it means to be mentally astute and mentally aware and emotionally intelligent. But now it's like, okay, if the cultural and emotional awareness of all that is still not enough, nigga, take your ass to a doctor, sit on somebody's couch, and have that person help you work through those demons.
Mhm.
And the tertiary, the third level of that is you may need some Skittles behind it. You may need to pop a pill or two a day, right? And so for me and mine, what the Lord say, as for me and mine,
Mhm.
I'm gonna take my Skittles every day. I told you before we started this call, they just put me on some new stuff. Maybe tomorrow, my to-do list tomorrow don't stand a chance.
Good.
They don't stand a chance. We finna knock it out the park. So it is important to take care of your mental health. It is important to um understand that everybody's emotional and mental journey is their own. Your journey looks differently than anybody else's. And when it comes down to it, uh are you able to look yourself in the mirror and like what you see?
Okay. I want to ask one more question. I'm gonna keep. Listen,
You cool. I ain't got nowhere to go.
look, my aunt just called me, so I do. But I do because you touched on so much stuff. But let me ask this: how has bettering your mental health made you a better parent?
Better who?
A parent.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Um, Start the topic. I know you go and your food getting cold. Um,
I ain't worried. Listen, man, the food. I got a microwave. I got an air fryer.
okay, hey man, come on, air fryer.
But my aunt called
Um,
me. I was like, I gotta go get my cousin, but I do gotta ask this question though. You feel
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. No, you're good, you're good. How has it made me a better parent? It's made me a better parent because My job as a parent is to be a better parent than my parents were parents. It's to break those generational curses. It is to, that the whole, oh, we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Cool. I love you, ancestors, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the little girl that calls me daddy,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not she has a better life based off the decisions that I'm making on a daily basis. Right. I'm worried about as a 6 year old, she got about 2 3 more years of niceness before she just become a complete hellion and just get mean. Middle school kids are mean,
Oh,
right? And,
trust me,
and it,
I know.
yeah, okay. You got a middle schooler?
Yeah, he back there making noise now. I keep looking
Yeah.
at him on the
Okay.
side of my eye like, you
Okay.
keep talking. Why you?
Yeah. And if I know her, she got a mouthpiece on her like I do, right? And so I'm like, look, I hope we're gonna teach you how to fight because your mouth gonna get you in trouble a couple times. And I, I- you know, um, tuck your thumb, baby. Tuck your thumb, because somebody gonna base you in your chest one good time. Now, granted, I'm 5'7". My 6 year old is right here,
Mm,
right? She's the tall girl. She don't realize she as big as she is, and so I'm trying to make sure that she's not a bully. But it's making me a better parent because it's helping me understand. And I told you how she and I are the same person, so
mhm.
it's helping me better regulate my emotions, specifically because it's just me and her in my house.
Yeah.
And so, how what example am I showing to her about how to manage stress, about how to overcome adversity, about how to recognize when you are struggling and when to ask for help, right? And so um she is actually out of town right now um with my ex because I needed a mental reset.
Mhm.
She's with me full time, but I was like, yo, shorty need a break. And it's just me. Uh for the rest of the year during school while running a business. And so it's helping me become a better parent and realize where my deficiencies, where my defaults, where my struggles are at, so I can identify them, work on them. So that way, when she steps out and officially presents herself into the world, she's not carrying all the emotional baggage that I inadvertently placed on her just by default of me being her daddy.
Let me tell you something, man. I have loved talking to you. I hope I can get you back on again.
Let's do it.
We can
It's
cut up
cool.
some
I'm with
more.
it.
I'll be on the juice as well the next time you on. So we really gonna get into some stuff. You
Let's
know,
go.
you know what I'm saying? But Paul, I really appreciate you taking the time and going overtime that we had said. It was a great conversation, everything you said. But please, can you shout out your business and your TikTok and all of that for me so the people can know?
Yes. Excuse me. Paul Renshaw, Big Time Balloon, Cincy. We are based here in Cincinnati, Ohio, but we do travel, man. You can find us on all of our social media platforms at Big Time Balloons underscore Cincy, 513-998-4438, or on our website, www.bigtimeballoonscincy.com. Cincy is CINCY, not CINCI. Give us a call. We'd love to work with you.
Hey, thank y'all for listening to another episode of Hold Up and Another Thing presented by Mixed Vibes Media. Y'all already know the vibes. It's your boy, Mr. Bell, aka can't say your name upon the pod. Might not put you to mind. We're gonna see y'all on the next one. Y'all be easy, y'all be blessed.